Hey guys, welcome back to Raid Shadow Legends. In today's video, I want to go through my personal top 5 free champions for new players. Now, the reason I'm making this list is because when I started playing the game, probably I want to say like 8-9 months ago or something like that, a lot of the recommendations were to, go into campaign and get yourself a war maiden and stuff like that. But the state of the game is honestly massively different now, where those champions are kind of obsolete. So I want to go through, if you're a newer player and you've just stumbled across this video, maybe you got a 2-day-old account, this is where you can maybe restart, because there are so many key champions that you can miss along the way or in the beginning of your account if you just download the game and start playing. So I want to go through, like I said, 5 champions, but they're not going to be just one champion. There will be multiple champions that I mentioned, but it's 5 ways to get these champions. So the first champion, and probably one of the most impactful champions on any new player's account at the moment, is going to be your promo code champion. At the moment, we have 2 great ones. We have DEMONSLAYER, which will get you Tholen Foulbeard. I'll talk about him in a sec. And then we also have Desert Queen, which can get you to Hunrock. So Tholen Foulbeard is an AoE damage dealer with giving himself an attack buff. He also has a innate attack break for the enemy and attack buff for himself with this attack that also ignores defense. Then he has an AoE attack with a weaken, which if it applies to all enemies, it will grant himself an extra turn. And then passively, after every 5 skills, he will get himself an extra action of his basic attack. He is an AoE beast, and he is a great carry for your account. He is the one that has been carrying me on this one. He is the beginner code that I used. Now, to use a beginner code, you have to use it in the first 24 hours of your account and before you reach level 15. So if you are a new player, you're like 2 days, 4 days into your account, and you didn't use a download link and you didn't use a beginner code, I highly recommend starting over, because like the amount of value you get out of these free champions is insane. So that is Tholen Foulbeard. The other one at the moment that we do have is over here in the Barbarians, which is Hunrock. Now, this is the Desert Queen code. I would say she is arguably better than Tholen Foulbeard overall for an account. She is a Void Legendary, which is super high value, but she is a support. So for new players, it's not as fun like carrying your account with a support as opposed to a big nuke a DPS. That is the one trade-off with her. But she is an absolute monster. She has cleansing, she has healing, she has key debuff, she has debuff spread, she has attack buff, defense buff, she has speed buff. She has basically an insane supportive kit, and she's a Void Legendary, which makes her incredibly rare. So she is the other one with the Desert Queen. But once again, if you're playing in the future and these codes are gone, there may be new codes. Always check when you start playing this game what beginner codes are out there, because maybe there is an even better champion. For instance, we used to have the Supreme Gallic code, which this guy was absolutely insane as well. He is gone now. You can't get him anymore, but they do rotate through codes quite frequently. And the other thing is, I do make a custom download link based on any new beginner codes they have with champions that I think go with your starter code champion, which leads me on to the second best champion, or the next. I'm not doing this in any particular order, but another area, best champions you can get on your account for new players, is going to be those download links. So you'll see in the description of my video, I have the download link, which will get you Tagoar, Deacon, Armstrong, Lightsworn, and Mausoleum Mage. Now, the download links in this game that you can get from creators are insane. Whether you want to use mine or someone else's, it doesn't matter. The one thing I would say is a non-negotiable is Tagoar. Tagoar is a healer, a reviver, a shielder. He also has defense buff and damage mitigation. This guy carries the PvE for your account. He is absolutely insane. And I highly recommend that you use a download link which has him, because his ability to revive means if you have him tanky and then you have like a main DPS kind of built and then everyone else is kind of scuffed, he can just keep bringing them back. And like I said, he just carries the hell out of your runs. The other one who I would consider a non-negotiable to have in my download link is Deacon Armstrong. AoE defense break, team-wide gauge boost plus an extra turn, and he has leech, which is so big in like Demon Lord Clan Boss and stuff like that. Plus he has a speed lead. So in arena, he's your speed leader, he's your gauge booster, and he's your defense breaker. This guy is a monster in PvE and PvP, and like I said, he is a non-negotiable for me. So you'll find that whenever I make a download link, when there is a new code champion or anything like that, I will always use Tagoar, I will always use Deacon Armstrong, and then the last 2 are flex spots. In this one, with this Tholen Foulbeard playthrough, I am using Lightsworn and Mausoleum Mage. There are definitely other options that you can use. In one of my previous ones where I didn't use Tholen Foulbeard, I was using Fayne. But just note, I think that Tagoar and Deacon Armstrong are the two best champions you can get from a download link, in my personal opinion, as a new player. They carry your account so damn hard. So that is that one. Once again, we've gone through beginner codes. Now we've gone through download links. The next one is going to be your chase events. So these chase events, and I'm not going to be going through characters, that you get from like crazy ways. If we go into Dark Elves here and we go to someone like, Mithrala, who you get through, months and months of playing the game. I'm not going to go through those champions. These champions, all champions that you can get within like your first 30 days of play that I am looking at, that are really going to impact the progression of your account. So as I mentioned, the next one is going to be chase champions. Now, if there is no like unique chase on, it will default to Shaman. Shaman is not the one. This is when we have legendary champions on limited time chases. And these things are crazy. Not just because of the champion. It basically doesn't matter what champion is in these chases. Your account can get value out of them. Because not only do you get the champion after logging in for 7 days, after 14 days, you get a 2-star soul for them. After another 14 days, you get a 5-star soul for them. This is absolutely insane in my opinion. These things are huge. Now, the reason being is normally, at least like the last one I remember was Alice was another one that we had, which, Alice was great as well. But especially if it's an attacker that you can use, getting access to those souls is massive because it lets you get the blessing Brimstone. And if you get a 5-star soul from these champions, that gives you a 5-star Brimstone, which Smite is a debuff that gives you big damage on bosses, and you always want to have it in any of your bossing teams because it makes up a bunch of damage. You want to have it on one of your legendary champions because it can only go on legendaries. So, if you get one of those champions and you can get a really high, Brimstone, that is nice. Now, Brimstone normally wants to go on multi-hitters, but even at the beginning of your account, if you don't have a multi-hitter that you get through those chases, it's still nice to have a 5-star soul smite for the early, Demon Lord progression and stuff like that. So Lemonisi is the current one we have. We had Alice in the past. Like, in general, these chase champions, when we look at just free units you can get, they're going to be up there with like above any other like farmable unit that you can get, basically regardless of what their skills are. It would take a really shit champion not to be worth investing on your account for a new player. Books, that's a whole nother thing. Whether you want to skill up these champions, you may not want to. But, just getting access to them, they will help your account as well. So that is that one. Download links. The download link, the code champion, the chase events. The next one I want to look to is Morag. I can't remember her last name, but Morag. So you get her through Plarium points. You can see here I'm on 1190 of 1250. I will be getting my Morag in about 4 to 5 days, and my account is only 20 days old. Now, to get it, you need to have Plarium points. There's 2 big ways to get a chunk of Plarium points. The first one is it's a quest. It's like a unique quest down the bottom when you start your game, which is to bind to a Plarium account. Basically, just log in on a PC, you get it. The next way is to use the code PP500. So it's PP500. That will get you 500 Plarium points as well. Fantastic. Now, after that, we do have our daily play rewards. Now, to get these ones down the bottom, you have to play on PC. These 3 up the top, you can get on any device. But playing on PC, even if you just leave your account logged in on a PC and go away, do your stuff, and come back, that will get you your 2 hours of playtime to get those. And the other place you can get them is in the advanced rewards from clearing all of your advanced quests. So you can see here we get another 3. So that becomes 12 per day you can repeatedly get. The one other place you can get some is in these chases. You can see I got 10 over here and I got 20 over here. You can get them, and then sometimes there will be more in tournaments, but I haven't seen any in tournaments in a fair while. But that is the way you get it. But once again, that is going to get you Morag. So let's go ahead and take a look at Morag, because Morag, in my opinion, is an absolute monster. She has a team up. Now, this is great for Fire Knight progression. It is great. She's amazing for Demon Lord as well. She also has the attack all enemies, but grants strengthen to all allies. Now, this is a 2-turn duration on a 3-turn cooldown. Really damn nice. And like I said, she is based on defense, which means you get to build her tanky and still do damage. But the strengthen buff, really nice for survival. She has a 2-hitter on her basic, which will ignore shields. She has a passives that when she has her own strengthen buff on, she will revenge with her basic attack. all in all, like, her kit is just so damn nice. I haven't built her on any of my previous accounts, but on this account, I am going to have her as one of the cornerstones of my Demon Lord team, and I have really high hopes for what she's going to do on this account. But in general, she is a great character that you get for free, and you can get within your first, like, 25 days of play, provided you are playing on PC, once again, is the one requirement. Otherwise, it could take you a little bit longer to go ahead and get her. So that is that one. Now, the final one that I want to go through, actually, you know what, this one's kind of one that we'll put in as a bonus. We got Madam Serris. So Madam Serris is another download link champion. As I mentioned here, my download link gets you 4, but after you create that download link and you install the game and you play it and you get your first champion in the mail to make sure it works, you can then uninstall the game, reinstall it through the boozer link that I have in the description below, and that will get you a Madam Serris on the account that's already used a download link. So you can use a download link, uninstall the game, log back in with that account after you download with the boozer link, and it will get you a Madam Serris. I don't know how long this will work for, but it's actually kind of crazy. That's just like a bonus one because I don't know how long she'll be around. So that's kind of just added into the download link champions. So recapping the 4 we've gone through already, that's your code champion, your beginner code champion, your download link champions, your chase event champions, Morag, which you get through Polarium points, and the last one is going to be a farmable unit, which I actually max skilled and accidentally fed. But that is going to be none other than my man, dude, I can't even remember what faction he's in. I think he's in Sacred Order. That is going to be the 2-star Arager. Now, there is a bunch of other like 3-star, 2-star, like 3-star units especially that you can use. But when you look at the farmable units, now you can't specifically farm this guy from a stage, but from mystery shards, you know, from the shop, you're eventually going to get him. As I mentioned, I actually max skilled one, forgot to lock him, and fed him. Now, on all my other accounts, this guy has been one that I have 6-starred. Now, you don't need to 6-star him. I have just done it through rushing Arbiter missions. But this guy basically has an attack that deals deals damage based on enemy max HP, which is really nice, but the real magic comes from his basic. Attacks one enemy, decreases the turn meter by 30% if the attack is a critical hit. You can just turn off his skill 2 and have him as a pure gauge manipulator, and away you go. And in my opinion, out of all the pure, if you want to consider, you know, uncommon champions and farmable rare champions, he comes out on top for me every day of the week. This ability to manipulate turn bar is so amazing. Now, it's not going to be great in Demon Lord Clan boss because you can't get manipulated, but anywhere where a boss can be turn gauge manipulated by this guy is an absolute monster. When we look to Fire Knight, he can infinitely lock out the Fire Knight if you are fast enough. When we look to a bunch of Doom Towers as well, he is the man. So, like I said, I think out of the farmable, pseudo-farmable, if you want to include uncommons, he is the number one. Like I said, I max skilled mine. I saved all my dupes for him, put them all into one copy. Forgot to lock it, accidentally fed it. I'm an idiot, but hey, I'll get more copies along the way. It doesn't really matter. Now, the one reason I haven't leveled him on this account is because we do have Lightsworn, who isn't as good because he has only 10% on his basic, but he brings other utility, and I think I'll get away with just using Deacon's turn gauge manipulation and Lightsworn and not need Armager, but in general, Armager is just an absolutely fantastic unit. As I mentioned, there is some other good champions over here that you can get. You can get Spirit Host early on, which can fill your attack buff, attack buffer and speed buffer for early game PvP until you get like your Deacon from your download link. There is the War Maiden for AoE Death Shred, but most download links are going to include either the Deacon or the Ugo, which both have AoE Death Break, so you shouldn't have to worry about it. We also do have Spirit Host, who could be your early game gauge booster with this skill, but at the end of the day, you know, those 3 champions all basically get replaced eventually, like within your first 2 weeks of play anyway, or first week of play really. So those guys, you do need them for fusions, but like I said, they used to be the ones that I used to see highly recommended, but with the current state of the game, there is so many better free champions that a lot of those things become obsolete. When you look at my account, what I'm actually using, the main champions I'm using are Tholen Failbeard, Lightsworn, Tagoar, Deacon Armstrong, Mausoleum Mage, my Madam Serris, and then it will be the Morag as well, and that pretty much gets you through the entirety of the early game into some pretty solid clan boss damage. Once again, it's going to be your code champ, your download link champs, your chase event champion, Morag from Flaring Points, and then Armager. If I had to choose one farmable champion or summonable champion that's fairly easy to get, it would have to be the Armager. Anyway, let me know if you guys have any others that I missed. Once again, there are other free champions that are fantastic throughout other areas of the game, but I'm not looking at the champions that are going to take you months upon months upon months to complete the missions to get. These are just the champions that you can get within your first 30 days and make a massive impact on your account. Anyway, guys, I'm going to shut up now. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.